You've probably seen it happen. A cat suddenly sprints down a dark hallway at 3 in the morning. They stare intensely at blank walls for hours. They carefully maintain eye contact while nudging a glass of water off the edge of a table. We provide them with temperature-controlled rooms, orthopedic beds, and scheduled meals. It is an environment of absolute, predictable security. Yet, despite all of this absolute safety, they still behave as if they are surviving out in a hostile, dangerous wilderness. What we write off as funny, random pet quirks are actually the visible traces of an ancient hunter operating in a modern environment. When scientists talk about domestication, they are usually talking about a massive biological overhaul. It is the total physical and psychological re-engineering of a wild animal so that it serves human needs. Humans took apex pack hunters from the wilderness and spent thousands of years selectively breeding them into cooperative, highly obedient partners. But cats completely break this biological model. They never went through that genetic transformation. If you look at the African wildcat, the direct ancestor to modern domestic cats, it is physically and genetically almost indistinguishable from a regular neighborhood tabby. The animal on your couch is an ancient, solitary predator that has successfully integrated into human life while keeping its wild nature intact. To understand how this happened, you have to rewind about 12,000 years to the moment humans stopped wandering across enormous landscapes and started settling down in permanent farming villages. Growing crops meant people had to store massive, concentrated piles of grain to survive the winters. Those huge food reserves inadvertently triggered an explosion of mice and rats. To early human settlements, a bad infestation was a deadly threat to their food reserves, and ultimately their survival. Somewhere nearby, the solitary desert wildcat noticed something highly unusual. Humans had accidentally gathered thousands of prey animals into one concentrated area. To a cat, the first villages were basically giant mouse factories. Cats entered human society through a standoff of mutual convenience, acting entirely as independent pest controllers rather than submissive partners. Because these wildcats were already solving our rodent problem naturally, early humans never felt the need to selectively breed or train them. We simply let them work. And as human civilization expanded outwards across continents, we took our grain stores with us, which meant we took our rat infestations with us too. This became especially critical on ancient maritime trade routes. Ships carrying food were highly enclosed environments that constantly suffered from rat infestations, making cats vital, permanent members of the crew. By simply following the rodents, a localized desert hunter secured an all-expenses-paid ticket to spread into Europe, Asia, and Africa, doing exactly what it had always done without ever having to alter its ancient biology. We can trace modern house cat behaviors directly back to survival tactics used in the desert. When they ambush your feet under the blankets or chase a laser pointer, they are practicing the exact same ambush techniques their ancestors used in the wild. When they aggressively knead soft blankets, they are directly retaining the precise physical motions kittens use to stimulate milk while nursing. But their most impressive survival tool is actually auditory. In the wild, adult cats very rarely meow at each other. This visualization shows how they adapted. Over thousands of years living near us, cats developed specific, artificially high frequencies designed to mimic human infants, manipulating our natural caregiving responses to get exactly what they want. The modern cat is deploying a perfectly preserved, ancient survival toolkit that just happens to be highly effective in a modern living room. Over centuries, human reliance on this opportunist grew so deep that mere tolerance escalated into outright spiritual reverence. In ancient Egypt, as seen in this bronze statue of the deity Bastet, the cat was physically elevated to divine power. Their societal integration was absolute. Families mourned dead cats, dedicating massive resources to preserve them, leaving behind millions of mummies like this one. Fast forward to the present day, and the result of this thousands of years-long strategy is staggering. There are now roughly 600 million domestic cats living alongside humans worldwide. They achieved this level of dominance as widespread predators by perfectly exploiting human infrastructure, rather than hunting in packs or growing larger. Which brings us to the final, strangest reality of our relationship with them. Even now, the domestication of the cat remains technically incomplete. If human civilization disappeared tomorrow, most dogs and livestock would perish, but domestic cats can survive entirely on their own, and feral populations revert completely to their wild ancestors' behaviors within just a few generations. Despite this extreme biological independence, humans now spend billions of dollars every year building automated litter boxes, specialized furniture, and heated beds to keep them entertained. Cats have spent thousands of years treating human civilization as a highly effective survival strategy, allowing us to provide for them while they remain their own masters.